Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever noticed how the most profound moments in life often happen in silence? How clarity emerges when we stop trying to force things and simply let them unfold? In a world full of noise, opinions, and endless distractions, we are taught that action and speech are the keys to success. But what if silence holds the real power? What if, by staying silent, we allow the universe, our thoughts, and our true selves to guide us naturally toward what we seek? Silence is often misunderstood as weakness or passivity, but in reality, it is one of the greatest sources of strength and wisdom. In a world where people rush to speak, to prove themselves, or to react instantly, silence is a rare and powerful tool. It allows us to pause, reflect, and truly understand before making decisions or responding to situations. When we embrace silence, we create space for deeper thinking. Instead of being caught up in the pressure to react immediately, we can take the time to process our emotions and thoughts. This not only helps us make wiser choices, but also prevents misunderstandings, conflicts, and regrets that often arise from hasty words. Many of history's greatest leaders and thinkers valued silence. They knew that speaking too soon or too much could weaken their influence, while strategic silence could enhance their presence. A well-timed pause can be more impactful than 1,000 words. It gives weight to what we say, makes people listen more attentively, and allows us to observe the true intentions of others. Silence also strengthens our inner power. When we resist the urge to constantly express ourselves, we cultivate self-control and discipline. We become less reactive and more intentional. Instead of letting external situations dictate our emotions, we learn to stay calm, analyze, and respond with clarity. Furthermore, silence is a gateway to intuition. When we quiet the external noise and internal chatter, we become more in tune with ourselves. We start to hear our own thoughts more clearly, recognize our true desires, and connect with the deeper wisdom within us. This inner guidance often leads us to the right answers, effortlessly, without struggle or force. In relationships, silence plays an essential role in building understanding and trust. Instead of arguing or interrupting, listening in silence allows us to truly hear what others are saying, not just their words, but their emotions, their fears, and their unspoken messages. It fosters patience, empathy, and stronger connections. Ultimately, silence is not about absence, it is about presence. It is not about weakness, it is about control. And when we master the art of silence, we open ourselves to a world of deeper wisdom, greater influence, and a life where everything falls into place naturally. Everywhere we go, we are surrounded by noise, both external and internal. The constant chatter of social media, the endless opinions of others, and the pressure to always have something to say or contribute create an environment where silence is often drowned out. In this modern world, we are conditioned to believe that being vocal, assertive, and constantly engaged is the only way to stay relevant. But in reality, too much noise can cloud our judgment, drain our energy, and prevent us from truly understanding ourselves and the world around us. The external noise comes from the world itself. News cycles that never stop, notifications that demand our attention, people who constantly talk but rarely listen. We are bombarded with information at an overwhelming speed, making it difficult to separate what truly matters from what is just background noise. The pressure to stay informed, to have an opinion on every topic, and to participate in every conversation often leads to mental exhaustion and stress. Then there is the internal noise, the voice inside our heads that never stops speaking, the endless thoughts, worries, doubts, and self-criticisms that fill our minds make it difficult to find clarity and peace. We overanalyze situations, replay past mistakes, and stress about the future. This mental clutter prevents us from being present and fully experiencing life as it happens. In such a noisy world, wisdom is often lost. When there is too much talk, people stop listening. When everyone is rushing to express their thoughts, little space is left for true understanding. Sometimes the wisest thing we can do is step back from the noise and embrace silence. Instead of trying to keep up with the constant flow of information and opinions, we can choose to disconnect, reflect, and listen more deeply. When we distance ourselves from unnecessary noise, we gain clarity. We begin to recognize what is truly important, rather than being swayed by the loudest voices. We start to hear our own inner wisdom and develop independent thinking rather than blindly following the trends and beliefs of the crowd. Silence allows us to filter out distractions and focus on what truly matters. Moreover, the ability to remain silent in a noisy world gives us a unique power. While others rush to speak and react, those who practice silence observe and understand. They do not waste their words on meaningless arguments or shallow conversations. Instead, they choose their moments wisely, ensuring that when they do speak, their words carry weight and significance. By recognizing the overwhelming noise that surrounds us and making a conscious effort to step away from it, we can cultivate a deeper sense of peace, awareness, and wisdom. Instead of being consumed by external pressures and internal anxieties, we allow ourselves the space to think, to feel, and to simply be. In today's fast-paced world, where everyone seems to be in a hurry to speak, respond, or react, the ability to observe before reacting is a rare but powerful skill. We often feel the urge to respond instantly, to defend ourselves, to prove a point, or to have the last word. But impulsive reactions can lead to misunderstandings, regrets, and unnecessary conflicts. By choosing to observe first, we give ourselves the opportunity to assess situations with clarity, patience, and wisdom. Observation is more than just looking. It is about truly seeing. It is about paying attention to the details that others overlook, noticing the emotions behind words, and understanding the bigger picture before jumping to conclusion. When we take the time to observe, we gain a deeper awareness of people's intentions, the energy of a situation, and the right course of action. Instead of reacting out of anger, fear, or ego, we can respond with thoughtfulness and precision. One of the greatest benefits of observing before reacting is that it allows us to control our emotions rather than letting them control us. In moments of conflict or stress, our immediate reaction is often fueled by frustration, insecurity, or past experiences. We may lash out, say things we don't mean, or make decisions that we later regret. However, when we pause and observe first, we give ourselves the space to process our emotions. We can ask ourselves, is this worth my energy? Am I reacting out of habit, or is there a better way to handle this? More often than not, we realize that silence or a well-thought-out response is far more powerful than an impulsive reaction. This practice is particularly important in conversations and relationships. Many misunderstandings occur because people listen to reply rather than to understand. They are so focused on what they want to say next that they fail to truly hear what the other person is expressing. By staying silent and observing first, we can pick up on subtle cues, the tone of voice, body language, and emotions behind the words. This allows us to respond with empathy and wisdom rather than reacting defensively. Observing before reacting also applies to decision-making. In life, we are often faced with situations that require quick choices. However, rushing into decisions without taking the time to analyze can lead to mistakes. Successful individuals, whether in business, relationships, or personal growth, understand the power of patience. They gather information, study patterns, and wait for the right moment to act. They do not allow external pressures to dictate their moves. Instead, they move with confidence and purpose because they have taken the time to observe. In the digital age, where opinions are shared instantly and conflicts arise over a single comment, practicing observation before reaction is more crucial than ever. Social media and instant messaging create an environment where people react emotionally without fully understanding the context. A moment of silence before responding can prevent unnecessary arguments, misunderstandings, and even damaged reputations. By cultivating the habit of observation, we train ourselves to become more mindful and intentional. We shift from reacting impulsively to responding with wisdom. We gain insight into the true nature of people and situations, allowing us to navigate life with greater awareness and inner peace. Instead of being controlled by emotions, external influences, or momentary frustrations, we become the masters of our own actions, choosing responses that align with our values and long-term goals. Nature operates on its own rhythm, unbothered by the urgency and impatience of human life. It does not rush, nor does it force things to happen. Instead, it follows a natural course, trusting that everything will unfold in its own time. If we take a moment to observe nature, we can learn one of life's greatest lessons: patience. Consider the growth of a tree. A seed is planted deep in the soil, hidden from view. For weeks, months, or even years, nothing seems to happen on the surface, but underground, the seed is quietly developing, forming roots that will provide strength and stability for the future. Eventually, a small sprout emerges. Slowly, it grows, nurtured by the sun, rain, and soil. It does not rush its growth, nor does it compare itself to other trees. It simply follows its natural timeline, trusting that with time it will become strong and mighty. This is the essence of patience. Everything worthwhile, whether it is personal growth, success, or healing, requires time. Just as we cannot force a tree to grow faster, we cannot rush the natural progression of our own lives. When we become impatient, trying to force things to happen before their time, we only create frustration and unnecessary stress. But when we trust the process and allow things to develop naturally, we find peace in the journey rather than just the destination. Look at the changing seasons. Winter does not resist the arrival of spring, and summer does not try to hold back autumn. Each season comes at its own perfect time, bringing with it a new phase of life. Some seasons are about growth and vibrance, while others are about rest and reflection. Just like the seasons, our lives go through cycles. There are times of abundance, where everything seems to be falling into place effortlessly, and there are times of challenge, where nothing seems to be going right. But just as nature reminds us that no season lasts forever, we must understand that difficult times will pass and good times will come again. Water, too, teaches us patience. A river does not carve through rock by force, but by persistence. Over time, gentle, flowing water has the power to shape even the hardest stone. It does not rush or try to break through instantly. It simply keeps moving, trusting that with time it will reach its destination. The same principle applies to our lives. Progress may sometimes feel slow, but small, consistent efforts lead to transformation. The animals in nature also embrace patience. Birds do not rush to fly before their wings are strong enough. A mother lion does not force her cubs to hunt before they are ready. Everything in nature happens at the right time, in the right way. If we could adopt this mindset, we would experience less stress and anxiety. Instead of feeling the pressure to have everything figured out immediately, we could trust that we are exactly where we need to be and that things will unfold in their own perfect timing. Impatience often comes from the fear that we are falling behind or that we are not achieving enough. Society conditions us to believe that speed equals success, that the faster we accomplish something, the more valuable it is. But nature reminds us that true success is about endurance, not haste. The strongest trees are not the ones that grow the fastest, but the ones that take their time to establish deep roots. Similarly, the most fulfilling achievements are not those gained overnight, but those built with patience, effort, and trust. By observing nature, we can learn to surrender to life's timing. Instead of forcing things to happen, we can allow them to develop naturally. Instead of resisting change, we can embrace it. Instead of feeling frustrated when things take time, we can find peace in the process, knowing that just like the trees, the rivers, and the seasons, everything is unfolding exactly as it should. As human beings, we have an innate desire to control our lives, our circumstances, and even the people around us. We believe that if we plan everything perfectly, if we force situations to unfold the way we want them to, we can achieve happiness and success. But life has a way of reminding us that control is often an illusion. No matter how much we try to dictate the course of events, there are always factors beyond our control. The more we resist this truth, the more stress, frustration, and disappointment we bring upon ourselves. Letting go of control does not mean giving up or becoming passive. It means recognizing that not everything is meant to be controlled and that sometimes the best way forward is to allow things to unfold naturally. When we stop forcing outcomes and start trusting the process, we create space for life to surprise us in ways we never expected. Think about the ocean. No matter how strong a swimmer you are, if you fight against the waves, you will exhaust yourself. But if you learn to move with the tide, to surrender to its natural flow, you will find yourself carried effortlessly. The same principle applies to life. When we let go of the need to control every situation, we allow ourselves to move with the current instead of against it. we begin to notice new opportunities, different perspectives, and unexpected blessings that we might have missed if we had been too focused on trying to force a particular outcome. One of the biggest sources of suffering comes from our attachment to specific results. We tell ourselves that things must happen a certain way, within a certain timeline, and when they don't, we feel like we have failed. But often, life has a bigger plan, one that we cannot see in the moment. Think about times when you were disappointed because something didn't work out, only to later realize that it was actually a blessing in disguise. Maybe a failed relationship made room for a better one. Maybe a lost job led to a new, unexpected career path. When we let go of control, we open ourselves to possibilities that are far greater than what we originally imagined. Control is often rooted in fear, the fear of uncertainty, the fear of failure, the fear of the unknown. But no matter how much we try to plan and prepare, life is unpredictable. The more we try to control everything, the more anxious and restless we become. Letting go of control is an act of trust, trusting that we will be okay, even if things don't go exactly as planned. Trusting that setbacks are not punishments, but lessons. Trusting that even in moments of uncertainty, life is guiding us in the right direction. Another aspect of letting go of control is learning to release the need to control people. We often expect others to behave a certain way, to meet our expectations, to respond to us the way we want them to. But people have their own paths, their own experiences, and their own choices to make. The more we try to control them, the more we create tension, misunderstandings, and disappointment. When we let go of this need, we free ourselves from unnecessary frustration and allow our relationships to flow naturally. Letting go also means releasing the weight of past mistakes and regrets. Many of us carry guilt over things we wish we had done differently. We replay past decisions, wondering how things might have turned out if we had made different choices. But the past is unchangeable, and holding on to it only robs us of our peace in the present. When we release control over what has already happened, we give ourselves permission to move forward with a lighter heart. Similarly, we must also release the illusion of controlling the future. We spend so much time worrying about what will happen tomorrow, next month, or next year that we forget to live in the present moment. But the future is not something we can dictate. It is something we step into moment by moment. By letting go of the need to control what is yet to come, we allow ourselves to fully experience life as it is happening now. At its core, letting go of control is about surrendering to life's natural rhythm. It is about finding peace in uncertainty, embracing change instead of resisting it, and trusting that even when things don't go according to our plans, they are still unfolding exactly as they should. In a world where everyone wants to be heard, few take the time to truly listen. We live in a time of constant communication. Conversations are dominated by people waiting for their turn to speak rather than absorbing what is being said. But there is great wisdom in listening. When we choose to listen more than we speak, we open ourselves to greater understanding, deeper connections, and valuable insights that we would otherwise miss. Listening is not simply about hearing words. It is about fully engaging with another person's thoughts, emotions, and perspectives. Too often, people listen with the intent to reply rather than to understand. They are already formulating their response while the other person is still speaking, eager to inject their own opinions, experiences, or advice. But true listening requires patience and presence. It requires setting aside our own assumptions and judgments so that we can genuinely absorb what the other person is expressing. One of the greatest benefits of listening is the ability to learn. When we speak, we are only repeating what we already know. But when we listen, we have the opportunity to gain new knowledge, broaden our perspectives, and challenge our existing beliefs. Some of the most successful individuals, whether in business, leadership, or personal relationships, are those who prioritize listening over speaking. They recognize that every person they encounter has something valuable to teach them. Whether it's a new way of thinking, a different cultural perspective, or a life lesson gained through experience, listening also strengthens our relationships. People are naturally drawn to those who make them feel heard and understood. When we give someone our full attention, without interrupting, without rushing to offer advice, without turning the conversation back to ourselves, we create a space where they feel valued and respected. This deepens trust and connection. whether it's with a friend, a family member, a colleague, or a stranger. Sometimes, people don't need solutions. They simply need to be heard. By being a good listener, we offer them that space, which is often more meaningful than any words of advice we could give. Another powerful aspect of listening is the ability to read between the lines. Not everything important is spoken outright. People often express their true feelings through tone, body language, and subtle hints rather than direct words. When we practice active listening, we become more attuned to these unspoken messages. We begin to notice the emotions behind the words, the hesitation in someone's voice, or the hidden concerns that they may not be ready to verbalize. This allows us to respond with greater empathy and awareness, strengthening our ability to navigate both personal and professional relationships. Listening more than speaking also cultivates humility. It reminds us that we don't have all the answers, that there is always more to learn, and that other perspectives are just as valuable as our own. Many conflicts arise because people are more focused on being right than on understanding. But when we take the time to truly listen, we often realize that the other person's viewpoint is just as valid as ours. This opens the door for meaningful conversations, compromise, and mutual growth, rather than arguments and misunderstandings. Additionally, when we listen deeply, we become more mindful. Conversations stop being rushed exchanges of information and instead become meaningful moments of connection. We become more present in our interactions, fully engaged rather than distracted by our own thoughts or external interruptions. This mindfulness extends beyond conversations. It influences the way we experience the world. We begin to listen to the subtle details of life, the sound of the wind, the rhythm of the rain, the emotions behind a simple "how are you?" Even in silence, listening plays a crucial role. When we stop talking and simply observe, we gain insights we would otherwise overlook. We hear the truth in what is not being said. We notice shifts in energy, patterns in behavior, and the deeper meaning behind everyday moments. Listening goes beyond words. It is a way of perceiving the world with greater awareness, wisdom, and understanding. By choosing to listen more than we speak, we not only enhance our relationships and knowledge, but also cultivate patience, empathy, and personal growth. In a world that constantly urges us to express ourselves, the ability to listen is a rare and valuable gift, one that leads to deeper connections, wiser decisions, and a richer experience of life. In the chaos of daily life, our minds are constantly bombarded with thoughts, worries, and distractions. We are surrounded by endless noise, conversations, social media, news, responsibilities, all demanding our attention. With so much happening at once, it's easy to feel overwhelmed, confused, or even lost. This is where the power of silence comes in. When we allow ourselves moments of stillness, we create space for clarity and peace to emerge. Silence has a unique way of clearing mental clutter. When we are constantly engaged in external noise, our minds become overstimulated, making it difficult to focus or think clearly. But when we step away from the distractions and embrace silence, our thoughts begin to settle. Imagine a muddy pond. When it is stirred constantly, the water remains murky. But when left undisturbed, the mud settles and the water becomes clear. The same applies to our minds. Silence acts as a reset button, allowing us to see situations more objectively and make better decisions. Clarity often comes when we stop trying to force it. When we struggle to find answers, we often believe that thinking harder or talking more will help. But sometimes the best way to gain insight is to pause and embrace silence. Have you ever noticed that the best ideas or solutions often come to you when you're in a quiet moment, while taking a walk, sitting in nature, or lying in bed before sleep? This happens because silence allows our subconscious mind to process information freely without the pressure of immediate responses or distractions. Silence also enhances self-awarenesses. In the constant rush of life, we rarely take the time to sit with our own thoughts and emotions. Instead, we fill every moment with activity, checking our phones, listening to music, or engaging in conversations. While these distractions may keep us occupied, they also prevent us from truly understanding ourselves. When we embrace silence, we can tune into our inner world. We begin to recognize what we truly feel, what we deeply desire, and what thoughts or beliefs may be holding us back. This self-reflection is essential for personal growth and emotional well-being. Beyond mental clarity, silence brings a deep sense of peace. In moments of stillness, we experience a break from the pressures of life. There is no need to impress, no need to explain, no need to react. We simply exist in the present moment. This presence allows us to release stress and tension, calming both the mind and body. It is why practices like meditation and mindfulness, which emphasize silence, have been proven to reduce anxiety and improve overall well-being. Silence also strengthens our emotional resilience. When we react impulsively to situations, we often allow emotions like anger, frustration, or fear to dictate our actions. But when we practice silence, we learn to observe our emotions rather than be controlled by them. We develop the ability to pause before responding, to reflect before making decisions, and to let go of unnecessary conflicts. Over time, this inner stillness makes us more composed, patient, and emotionally balanced. Moreover, silence creates a deeper connection with the present moment. When we are constantly engaged in talking or thinking about the past and future, we miss what is happening right now. But in silence, we become more aware of the world around us, the beauty of nature, the details of our surroundings, the subtle emotions of the people we interact with. We begin to experience life more fully, appreciating its richness without the distractions of constant noise. In relationships, silence can also be powerful. It allows us to listen more deeply, to truly understand others rather than rushing to fill every gap in conversation. It fosters moments of connection that go beyond words, simply being present with someone, sharing a quiet moment of understanding, or offering comfort without the need for explanations. Ultimately, silence is not just the absence of noise. It is a space where clarity, wisdom, and peace can flourish. It is a reminder that we do not always need to seek answers outside of ourselves. Often, the truth is already within us, waiting to be heard in the quiet moments we allow ourselves to embrace. Life is unpredictable. No matter how much we plan, prepare, or try to control every outcome, things don't always go the way we expect. There are moments of uncertainty, setbacks, and delays that make us question whether we are on the right path. But one of the most valuable lessons we can learn is to trust the process, to believe that everything is unfolding as it should, even if we don't understand it in the moment. Trusting the process means having faith in the journey, even when we can't see the destination. It means understanding that growth, success, and fulfillment take time. Just like a seed planted in the soil doesn't sprout overnight, our dreams and goals require patience and persistence. Sometimes we want instant results. We want to see progress immediately. And when things don't happen fast enough, we become discouraged. But just because we don't see immediate results doesn't mean nothing is happening. Beneath the surface, changes are taking place. Lessons are being learned, and the foundation for future success is being built. Think about nature. A river doesn't rush to its destination. It flows naturally, carving its path over time. A tree doesn't grow tall in a single day. It strengthens its roots first. Nature trusts its own process, knowing that everything happens at the right time. If we can adopt this mindset, we will experience less stress and frustration. Instead of resisting the natural timing of life, we can embrace it, knowing that everything we are going through, both the highs and the lows, is shaping us into who we are meant to become. One of the biggest obstacles to trusting the process is doubt. When things don't go as planned, we start to question ourselves. Am I making the right choices? Is this really meant for me? What if I fail? But doubt is a normal part of growth. Every successful person has faced moments of uncertainty. The difference is that they kept going despite their doubts. They understood that setbacks and challenges are not signs of failure, but stepping stones to success. If we give up too soon, we may miss out on opportunities that were just around the corner. Another key aspect of trusting the process is understanding that every experience, good or bad, serves a purpose. Sometimes the things we see as obstacles are actually preparing us for something greater. A job we didn't get may have led us to an even better opportunity. A relationship that ended may have taught us valuable lessons about love and self-worth. A failure may have pushed us to develop resilience and new skills. When we look back, we often realize that the things we once saw as disappointments were actually blessings in disguise. Trusting the process also means surrendering to what we cannot control. Many of us spend so much energy worrying about the future, trying to predict every outcome, fearing the unknown. But the truth is, no one has all the answers. Life is a series of unfolding moments, And the more we try to force things to happen in a specific way, the more we create resistance. When we let go of the need to control everything and instead focus on taking one step at a time, we allow life to guide us in ways we never imagined. Patience plays a crucial role in trusting the process. In a world that values speed and instant gratification, we often feel pressure to achieve success quickly. But meaningful accomplishments take time. Whether it's building a career, mastering a skill, or healing from emotional wounds, the process cannot be rushed. Every step, every challenge, every delay is part of the journey. Instead of being frustrated by the wait, we can use it as an opportunity to grow, learn, and strengthen our faith in ourselves and the path we are on. There is also great peace in trusting the process. When we stop worrying about every little detail and start believing that things will work out as they should, we free ourselves from unnecessary stress. We become more present, more grateful, and more open to new possibilities. Instead of constantly questioning, when will this happen, or why isn't this working, we can shift our focus to what is this teaching me and how can I make the most of this moment. Ultimately, trusting the process is about believing that we are exactly where we need to be, even if it doesn't always feel that way. It is about having faith that every challenge is preparing us for something greater, every delay has a purpose, and every step, no matter how small, is bringing us closer to where we are meant to be. At the heart of it all, trusting the process, embracing silence, and letting go of control are not about giving up. It's about surrendering to the natural flow of life with faith and patience. When we stop forcing outcomes, listen more than we speak, and find peace in stillness, we allow life to unfold in its own perfect timing. Every challenge, every delay, every unexpected turn is shaping us, teaching us, and preparing us for something greater. Instead of resisting the unknown, we can choose to embrace it, knowing that clarity will come, peace will follow, and everything will fall into place when the time is right. So let go of the need to rush. Trust that you are exactly where you need to be. Stay silent when needed, observe without fear, and believe in the unseen progress. Because when you do, you'll realize that everything you were chasing was making its way to you all along.